Martin Scorsese is arguably one of the greatest filmmakers in Hollywood today. He has done a huge number of countless films. For example, he's done Taxi Driver, Casino, Goodfellas, Cape Fear, many others. His latest film that he is to be bringing out is called The Irishman, and it's an understatement to say that I am very excited for that upcoming film by him. But talking about Martin Scorsese, if there is one thing that I can have admiration for, it's when somebody has self-respect, stands up for themselves, and doesn't do something on the basis that people are ordering him to, you could say. And this is exactly what Martin Scorsese seems to have done here. Martin Scorsese says he doesn't have time to write female characters. If the story doesn't call for it, then it's a waste of time. Do you hear that, Disney? Martin Scorsese has said that he doesn't have time anymore to write films led by female characters. The Oscar-winning filmmaker was speaking at an Italian press conference for The Irishman when he rejected claims that his work isn't diverse in terms of gender. Of course, this is the SJWs, yet again, the regressive leftists, etc., just finding a way to get offended by something, in which there's nothing to be really offended about. Scorsese said, "That's not even a valid point, that's not valid, I can't." He continued to say, "That goes back to 1970, that's a question that I've had for so many years, am I supposed to? If the story doesn't call for it, then it's a waste of everybody's time. If the story calls for a female character lead, why not?" Again, he's exactly spot on. He's one of them people that's not going to completely rewrite his scripts, he's not going to completely reshoot his films, etc., all for the sake of trying to bow down to political correctness. I can respect that. Emma Tillinger-Kossoff, a producer on The Irishman who was at the press conference, also refuted the claim, suggesting that the 1974 film Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore is an example of a Scorsese film with a female lead. So here you have it again, the SJWs are wrong. They're claiming that Scorsese doesn't represent women enough within his films. That's just been refuted right here. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore is one of his lesser known films, but is still a good film nonetheless. Scorsese apparently replied saying, "Oh, that's only one film, they don't count that. Age of Innocence, they don't count that. Casino, Sharon Tate's great in that, they don't count that either. Forget it, it's all these men." Again, it just shows right here, these SJWs, these types, don't even do any research whatsoever. The Age of Innocence, released in 1993, featured starring roles for Michelle Pfeiffer and Winona Ryder. 1995's Casino secured Stone an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. So Sharon Stone in Casino, she actually got an Oscar nomination for her performance in the Casino film. It honestly makes you wonder, have these people that always complain about this, have they even seen a Scorsese film? I honestly doubt it. Asked if he would like to write more female characters, Scorsese said he would. He then went on to say, "But you know what, I'm 76 now, how am I going to have the time? I don't know what's going to happen, we don't know. I don't have time anymore." The Irishman, which is the director's best reviewed film since 1976's Taxi Driver, stars Robert De Niro, Al Pacino and Joe Pesci. In recent weeks, it's been criticised for its lack of female characters, specifically an important one, played by Anna Paquin, who has minimal dialogue in the film. Because of course they would find a way to get offended by this film. They did this with The Joker, and now they're going to try and do this with The Irishman as well. The gangster film follows real-life mafia hitman Frank Sheeran across several decades of his life and his experiences with labor union teamster Jimmy Hoffa, played by Al Pacino, and crime boss Russell Buffalino, played by Joe Pesci. This film is going to be brilliant. I honestly can't wait to see this film. Production began on the film in 2016 with lucrative rights picked up at Cannes Film Festival. Netflix later acquired worldwide rights for the film for a reported $105 million, setting a budget of $125 million. Due to the de-aging technology required to make the central characters look younger, the film ended up costing $160 million. Scorsese most recently defended his claims that Marvel movies are not cinema, and that's a completely different subject altogether, but in a nutshell, I believe that he's entitled to his opinion. If he doesn't like Marvel films, that is his choice, they're not for everyone. But ultimately, coming back to this film, The Irishman right here, these people that are complaining about apparently a lack of female female representation in this film, a lack of representation in his previous films as well, like it was mentioned already. That was already refuted with the fact that there is a number of lead female characters in a number of those films. So for example, like it was mentioned, Sharon Stone in Casino, Michelle Pfeiffer in The Age of Innocence, okay, etc, etc. You could even go back to the 70s as well. The 70s films were mentioned as well. Taxi Driver, which has a 12-year-old Jodie Foster in it. These people don't do any research in the slightest, they're just looking for attention with these ridiculous kinds of comments. I have a lot of respect for what Scorsese has said here. It seems he's not going to bow down to SJW pressure, he's just going to go on and do his own thing, like he's always done in most of his films. And talking about the Irishman film, which is set to be coming out in, I think it's a couple of months, I believe, I honestly can't wait for that film either. Hopefully it's going to be another one of those classical gangster films, a film that's at the same quality levels as films and classics like he's done, such as Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino, etc, etc. I honestly can't wait to see this film when it comes out in cinemas. And when SJWs come out looking for reasons to get offended by Martin Scorsese's upcoming film, it doesn't make me not want to see the film, it makes me want to see the film even more. But ultimately, people, be sure to let us know what you think about this down below. What are your opinions on Martin Scorsese's upcoming film? What are your opinions on his comments right here regarding The Irishman? Be sure to let us know what you think about this down below. Alright gentlemen, this has been Lord Flashheart. Be sure to rate, comment, favourite, share and subscribe, and I will see you again. Cheerio!